Welcome to another fabulous episode of Five Lemons Laughing. I'm Amanda. We have all the Lemonettes here today. Morgan, Drusilla, Melissa, and Penny are on. Yay. Today, we're diving into what it really means to be living from the inside out. I know that kind of sounds funny, but just hold on.
And it's
You know,
not about the movie, right?
yeah,
But maybe it is.
maybe it is. So, you know, those moments when you really feel totally connected to something bigger. I'll name it spirit or our own inner wisdom. The whole big, beautiful comic dance. But then, when it's time to do something with that deep inspiration, suddenly you're feeling stuck on the couch, binging on tortilla chips and wondering where that motivation ran off. If you've been there, so have I. You're not alone. Let's talk about how we find our way forward, one honest, heart-led step at a time.
Thank you for that great introduction, Amanda. Wow. So, yeah, such a great topic. I've found myself in that situation so much lately. So, we're talking about the gap between feeling spiritually inspired and actually finding the motivation to take a step in a certain direction. So we have to ask ourselves, for example, when was the last time we felt truly alive or engaged in something? What was I doing? Who was I with? And am I truly living my best life? Or am I just going through the motions? Those become very challenging questions, especially when you are moving in a more spiritual direction and you want everything to have purpose and meaning all of a sudden. And so what does moving, gadgets and doing finances have to do with spiritual living? So it becomes pretty much a conundrum. So that's what we're talking about today. So let's dig in, ladies.
Let's
All right.
dig in. It might help to get some background. So, like, um, where did this topic come from? Penny, I know
Yeah,
that you were talking about it, so maybe get
yeah.
some backstory on this.
Yeah, so I've been contemplating, or I don't know if it's contemplating or thinking. I don't know what the word is right now. But I've been exploring, that's it, exploring the thought of living until you die, right? Um,
Mhm.
uh, like, gosh, 23 years ago when my sister passed away, I really felt like I was walking around dead, even though I was still alive and I had little children and I was a mother and doing all this stuff. But I really felt like I was dead because she had died. And so I didn't feel like I had anything to really live for because my sister had died. Well, then when my mom died a couple years ago, year and a half ago, the minister at the funeral read this poem. And it was just it really hit me. And so I had to send him an email and ask him to send it to me because I'd never heard it before. And I'm just going to read it. It's by Hart, somebody or other. I'm sorry, I don't have that with me right now, but it's called The Hardest Part. And the first verse is, the longer I live, the more assured I am that God leaves the hardest part for last, to stay alive until I die. It's tempting to withdraw a little every day, to retreat into myself until I'm caught in the slowly swirling current of less and less. I need God's constant help to to fight the good fight and stay involved another day. So the part of that poem was that just really hit me was to stay alive until I die. And so, we get all this spiritual inspiration to go do things, but then there's something, some block or whatever that stops us from, taking the steps to really live our life. And so that was the inspiration. Now I'm feeling like that's pretty heavy. I don't know how we can make this a little bit lighter, but it's really like, you know, um, what inspires us to really live each day? Like what gets, I often ask my clients, like, what gets you out of bed every day? Like jumping out of bed, going, yay, it's another day. Like what is that does that? And so I think if I can stay connected to what really inspires me, then I can live until the day I die. And that's really what I'm really working on that. I want to live until the day I die
Mm.
versus slowly dying.
So what gets you
And
out of bed each day?
what I'm inspired to do is just um, to be actually to be an inspiration to others, to spread joy, to spread love, to spread peace and harmony. And some days are better than others. I just have to be honest with you. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, but some days, and this week, as I knew we were going to be doing this topic, I'm like going like, God, it feels like Groundhog's Day some days, right? Where, oh, waking up, putting on the water to boil, putting my buckwheat and rice on for breakfast, taking my supplements, going down, doing the lesson. It's just like, okay, it's another day. I don't want
Yeah.
that to be the feeling. I truly want to live. And so
Oh,
I'm
that
curious what's
reminds me,
coming.
and I don't remember the quote verbatim, but I remember the essence of the quote. But that reminds me of a Paramahansa Yogananda quote about like we wouldn't we wouldn't want for heaven if everything here was perfect and wonderful all the time. So that Groundhog's Day feeling is actually helpful. Otherwise, we would just be content to stay here all the time.
Good
But
That is
I,
point.
one way to look at it, Morgan.
yeah, that feeling of discontent is actually helpful
Yes.
sometimes in a way.
But here's a little different perspective, right? If your morning routine is so satisfied and you're present with every step of it, then it's the same thing but different. Does that
Mm,
make sense?
Hmm.
yes,
You
Hmm.
know,
absolutely.
so it's just how you feel about it. Like, are you tuned into your rice and buckwheat, which is mind-boggling to me, why you eat rice and buckwheat, but that's okay. Hey, that's nothing to do with it.
Choose your own adventure, Amanda.
Exactly.
It's easy to digest.
Hey, thank you. Thank
So,
you for that little
Ayurvedic
Yeah.
master showing up.
Yeah.
That's
But
funny.
isn't that like the essence of what we're talking about? Living until we die. It's every moment.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I so agree with you on that, Amanda. While Penny was talking, I was thinking about and resonating with her so much on it. Like so much of what I do right now is mundane in the sense that it's not all exciting. I'm not outshining my light in the world, which is what I'm telling myself that's what I'm here for and that's my purpose. But I can reflect on maybe just even 6 months ago when I was delighted just to get out of bed and go for a walk and walk on, on the mountain or what have you. And so what has shifted is a mentality, it is the mentality. And so I have to ask myself, what is it that I'm feeling and doing, thinking now that's different than 6 months ago? Because my lifestyle really hasn't changed. So that is a question that I should dig a little deeper. And I know you probably are getting ready to ask me,
Yeah,
and I
I'm like,
don't have an answer to it right
Priscilla,
now.
Yeah, Drusilla, what's changed?
come on.
I don't know exactly. It feels like just kind of a, a settling phase, or kind of just spiraling down backward a little bit, which will help me propel forward again, I know. And it doesn't feel distressful or something, just not very meaningful. It just doesn't
Mm.
feel like I'm making an impact right now, you know.
So it's like you're in a resting period,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you're in a pregnant period, like something's getting ready to birth.
I think the course calls it a period of respite, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't it a human tendency to devalue that period? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I was just getting ready
yeah.
to say something similar. It's like it sounds like you're in a period of judging yourself as not as something less than, right? Instead of what we're talking about, like every moment living.
Yeah, and I was initially, when I
Mhm.
was first introducing the topic, and thinking about the poem that Penny read. That's what it feels like, because that's the human aspect of it, you know. Um, but in actuality, I know there's nothing wrong. I'm doing the lessons every day, and I feel the energy of it. I know my vibration is more constantly at levels that I would like for it to be, more than not. So
Mhm.
I am aware of that. Um, but if someone walked up to me and said, "Oh, what are you excited about today?" I probably would say nothing. Like,
Aw.
just, you know,
Recording with
um,
my Lemonettes.
Yeah.
today, tomorrow, who knows, right? Yeah. So it just becomes, that's just, I guess, a human pattern that I'm trying to break through and break
Mhm.
away from.
Yeah.
Is probably how I would
Awareness
describe
is
it.
the first step. Well,
Mhm.
so what does living until you die look like for you, Drusilla?
Um, Living until I die would look like waking up and knowing, realizing and accepting my purpose. Um, you know, and for that, to me, putting it into some terms means no brother left behind, no brother, no sister
Mm.
left behind. No matter who I come in contact with, no matter what I may have perceived about them, or maybe what they have done in the past, or what I have thought about them, that I can go beyond that and see them as my loving brother, you know. And um and I know that's my goal. And maybe it feels different because in in the former years, I would say at least in the last 3 years, my goal has been about expanding that touch and that reach. And I have been. And so this period of, whatever you want to call it, respite, it's not been that. So it feels different, you know. But I'm okay with it. It just feels different.
Hmm.
I've been going through something similar, Drusilla, as well. As you're talking about it, it just brings it to my mind. So, like the feeling of needing to expand, to really ignite the whole world, to connect on that love level.
Mhm.
Um, and at the same time, like, so my intention this year is my voice, my platform, my students, and also for a healthy body, right? Those were my big intentions for this year. And I have noticed lately that my thoughts are, I'm not giving up on that, no way. But it does feel like I'm in this process of just being really comfortable with my everyday life and taking away the judgment that what I do every day doesn't actually affect the world. Like, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I may not have 100 million or even 1 million students that I know of, right? Because I that or watching this podcast or whatever. But I am like the knowledge that's sinking into me now is that I am affecting the world's population by enjoying every single minute of my day. And I'm not saying I don't tune out. I mean, last night, Mike was watching basketball. I was sitting at the table watching a stupid TV show, but it's actually, I like it. And playing solitaire, right? Like, so zero connection to anything. And at this, I went riding yesterday. And so, that's just the feeling of just non-judgment and of being wholly satisfied with the every moment of the day. So like instead, like typically I would be judging my evening activities as not enough. And now I'm just like, you know what? I really enjoyed that time.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
might, I might let it go in
Mm.
the future, right? I'm just not judging that.
Yeah. I, I just want to say kudos to you for remembering so clearly your intentions for the year. And it's
Mhm.
letting me know that it might be time to revisit that. We're at the
I
halfway point,
know.
and I have no idea what
We
my intention
are.
for the year was.
That's why I kept mine really simple.
Right.
Oh, like those are so simple, Amanda.
I kept mine easy to remember. The goals
Okay.
are, yeah,
Right.
the goals are large. The words are small. Mhm.
Mm. I've
Melissa,
been
you've been
I've been
too
doing the same
quiet.
thing. Well, I'm just listen, I've been doing the exact same thing. I have these goals, I have these things I want to do that light the world on fire, and then I'm not staying on that path, and then I judge myself for getting off that path or, not being where I think I should be with it. But I do a meditation, a couple meditations. One, um, you breathe out then there, and you breathe in here and now. And for some, it's just bringing myself back to being present, and it really is so helpful for me. Um, it's just such a trigger for me to come back to the present, like what Amanda was saying, just to enjoy whatever I'm doing and to have it be okay. I just told my husband I'm staying with a friend a lot of the time, and then sometimes in this Airbnb, and um, it can get very chaotic over there with dogs and kids and um, workmen and stuff. And so what I know about myself is I need to check out every once in a while. Like I watched a whole series of a show yesterday. I just sat on the couch and just watched it, and all these people were going around me. Or I come to our Airbnb cottage, and I'm not here like praying. I'm here watching a show on my computer. Like I just cut because that's what I'm enjoying in the here and now. And I cut myself some slack. So I've been really working on not judging whatever I decide to do. And then the other thing is when I can get back to the here and now and let go of the then and there, um, I do see the doors reopening for me. I do see which path I should be on, which person I should call, which place to go have lunch or whatever. And especially traveling, I've been having these amazing experiences of meeting people or like just going down this one road and seeing this cathedral pop out of nowhere. Like it's just there, this huge cathedral. And so that was getting out of my head and getting into the here and now and just doing what I felt was right next. Um, and another meditation I do is in the morning asking myself, who am I when I'm at my best? And when I ask myself that question, my answer is always when I'm present and when I'm loving. And it's for me, it's when I get away from the being present and loving is when I'm feeling these like spiritual, but I can't motivate. You know, essentially what I'm saying is when I get present, that's when I don't even have to motivate. It just unfolds in front of me. Um, but it takes work to stay present.
So,
And it takes and also just like guess what? Accepting that when I'm not there and I'm just watching a show all day. Yes, Amanda?
in the very beginning, you cut out a little bit and you said you breathed in something and you exhaled
Oh,
something, and it sounded like a really golden nugget. So could you do that? Say that again?
oh shoot. No, missed it. Am
So
I
I
still
think
breaking
Melissa's
up?
having,
Yeah.
Okay.
you're frozen now. Now you're, now your video's off. That might help, Melissa.
Okay.
Oh
Did it?
shoot. Okay. No, I'm not repeating anything. Did you
Okay.
hear that?
You missed it. I totally okay.
I'm staying in the moment, Amanda. In the moment, I've already said what I said.
Well,
No,
God heard
so
it.
what I was saying is I breathe in, yeah, I breathe in the here and now and let go of the then and there. And that
Mm,
essentially probably what I say on every podcast, staying present and accepting wherever I am is my answer.
mhm.
Because I can really, I'm really trying to get out of judging myself for anything that's not all, I should do more, I should do better, I should light the world on fire, I
Mhm.
shoulds. So yeah.
And I like what you said also, Melissa, if I heard this
So
correctly. If I didn't, let me know that, like, even when you're on the couch, like being present and just not judging yourself as getting it wrong, that's when the inspiration comes to actually do something, to head in the direction of living your best life. That sometimes it takes sitting on the couch to have the motivation to live your best life. Is that what I heard correctly?
yeah, I just Um, for me, being present isn't always being on and totally spiritual and doing everything that lighting the world on fire.
Mhm.
Sometimes I need to just like chill out. I need to be by myself. And sometimes I want to watch a show and play solitaire. I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
So that is like something like um when we do what I'm getting and what I feel also is like when I do feel connected to something bigger, what gets in the way of actually turning that into action is judgment, is
Mhm.
judging myself somehow
Yes.
as getting
Yes.
it wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. I just had a
Yep.
thought. There was this trend going around on TikTok of people sharing their summer bucket list. And it was all these things they wanted to do over the summer. And it all was fun and very like coastable, you know, go to the lake or go to the beach or have a bonfire or, cook s'mores or read a book in a hammock, all these kind of uh romanticized things that we maybe think make a life more meaningful. And so I put together my own little summer bucket list just as a fun little, not summer bucket list, just like a life bucket list, just as like a fun way to keep play and creativity and connection on my radar, because I can very easily get swept up in my in just I don't want to use the word doldrums, but just like the routine of my daily life. And yes, even though we are living a life on the road, I still have routines and I still have, commitments and things to do. And it's easy for me to default to those things to the exclusion of those more idealistic, romanticized activities. You know what I mean? That are wonderful, but like they aren't necessarily a part of everyday life. And so, what I have just realized, I think, is all of it's wonderful.
Mhm.
Like the routine
Mhm.
stuff that we do day in and day out, and those special moments where you end up, with all of your favorite people around the dining table having a wonderful feast. Like, yes, that's a magical, beautiful moment. But so is, the daily walk with the dogs. And so it's like, it's about, I think it goes back to what you said, Amanda, with the daily rice and buckwheat, like just being fully present with the routines and being really grounded in loving presence and intention. Not that I do that in every single moment of the day, but that is the goal. And that is really, I think, what delineates living until you die from not. It's not, did you have 10 fabulous vacations and an amazing, amazing parties with friends and, a wild adventure in the jungle? It's not like all of these really noteworthy things. It's everything that you do grounded in love and presence and intention. So it sounds very basic now that I speak it out loud, but I think I just pieced that together for myself. I still am going to keep my bucket list. It's a fun little thing to come back to and remember me to incorporate play and fun and get out of my routine from time to time, but I'm not going to like that's not the only place that, you know, that's not the only place we can romanticize life. I mean, I've gotten to where um my daily time with my pets is one of the most grounding practices I have. And I'm learning to be fully present with them when I have the opportunity to not be on my phone or reading a book, like just be really hanging out with them when I can. And so just like those little ways that I can be fully present with whatever it is that I'm doing.
Wow, that's the net, right? Being fully present no matter what you're doing. And all, I just love what you said that all of it's wonderful. All of it. Doesn't matter
Mhm.
what we're doing.
Because there's definitely a
Yeah.
tendency to judge, to separate and
Boy.
to sort.
Yeah. I think that's a human condition
Mhm.
to sort and figure out and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like tasks on the computer, less good. Tasks outside in nature, better. That's just what we've assigned to it. Yes, maybe there are benefits to being in nature and benefits to being off of our screen from time to time, but like the leap to making one better and one worse is a human judgment, a human
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, and I think that what I'm hearing now, what's coming up for me that feels like maybe it is a part of the conflict for myself and the duality of it is that if you don't do that, meaning make a list or judge those as, one better than the other, then how do you prioritize? How do you set the goals? And, so then it becomes, because we do live in this world of form, right? Um, so I think that that is the dance. That is the dance. And unless you can, find the balance, and the balance is in definitely in the presence, um, in which I've experienced that, and I know what it feels like, and I know the safety of it and the peace of it. And then I think when I allow myself to be, to fall into the matrix of getting things done or needing to accomplish something. And it could very well be something I decided to do, you know, and that I am excited about doing, but it requires me to have deadlines, to have a budget, and requires, those other aspects of it that I feel like sometimes I allow myself to get pulled or sucked into the matrix more than the presence of it. And I think that's the feeling that I expressed in the beginning.
As you were talking about that, Drusilla, it reminded me of a book by Debbie Ford, The Right Questions. I don't know if any of you read that book. It's really a fabulous book. And like you were saying, Drusilla, you need to have goals, you need to have direction. Well, the very first question from her book, The Right Questions, is, will this choice propel me toward an inspiring future, or will it keep me stuck in the past? Will this choice bring me long-term fulfillment, or will it bring me short-term gratification? Am I standing in my power, or am I trying to please another? I mean, those are just maybe some simple, they're not so simple questions, but those could be some questions that we can ask ourselves. And maybe it is sitting there and vegging out and eating tortilla chips on the couch. Maybe that is what's going to help me propel myself into my future and into my inspired future, and that's okay. But I think asking ourselves, like, what's one small step I can take right now to, because every one of us, I think, recognize that we're here to shine our light bright, and who knows how that's going to all turn out. But what's one small step we can move towards doing that today, right? To be fully living in this moment. And I mean, I love what everybody said. All of it matters. Actually, that's one of the things that I've learned, is that everything I'm doing matters. Everything matters. If I'm sitting on the couch, vegging out on a, you know, schmacago, you guys have watched that. It's hilarious. But it doesn't, yeah, everything, it's all okay if you feel that it's moving you towards your end goal or end inspiration or whatever. Yeah. I don't
I
know if
love,
that helps.
oh, sorry, Penny. I didn't mean to talk
Go
over
ahead.
you.
No, go
The
ahead.
question, like, what's one small step? Like, so if someone is stuck on the couch eating tortilla chips and binging and playing solitaire all at once, is for me, it's kind of like, am I trying to escape life, right? Am I like, it's that being comfortable. The small step is whatever I'm feeling, to be comfortable feeling it, right? Because a lot of times that we don't live our lives is because we're trying to escape something. So if we're and typically you escape something because you don't want to feel it, experience it, acknowledge it. So a small step, which is not small at all, is like, you know, really getting in there. And am I hiding from a feeling? Am I hiding from something? And is whatever I'm doing an action to stay hidden?
Mhm.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
It is a big
Yeah.
one.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
And that is sometimes you need help with that big stuff. And that's
Hmm.
why we have all of us present have gone through the process of having one-on-one time with spiritual counselors, with being in community that we can share these things. I can speak for myself. Like that is something that has helped me dig in there. That's the small step that's actually a big step, is being comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And then that takes off the pressure. That's the thing that takes off the pressure so we can live every day without hiding.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think another small step in that um, vegging out on the couch with your tortilla chips may be um, being willing to drop the shame and judgment around it,
Hmm.
and just, uh, you know, acknowledge this is where I am right now. This is what I'm doing right now with love and acceptance and letting go of the judgment. And then, you know, next tiny step might be, and I'm willing to be inspired to do something different. I don't feel inspired right now, but I'm willing to be inspired.
Yeah, another one of Debbie's questions is, will I use this situation as a catalyst to grow and evolve, or will I use it to beat myself up? That's exactly what you're saying, Morgan.
Mhm.
Okay, we can put the whip away, right?
Yeah.
Put the
Mhm.
whip away. We don't have to flog ourselves every day because we're not doing what we think we should be.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
reframing it as a rest or a respite is another small step we can take.
And it sounds like the baseline of the things that have been presented as small steps to take are all rooted in awareness.
Hmm.
Because I'm thinking if you're on the couch and you're doing this and you're moping, then maybe you're not even aware of the reason that you're doing it, as you stated, Amanda, or the thoughts that you're telling yourself, like you stated, Morgan, your beliefs about yourself and talking down to yourself or judging yourself. So the first step um, in understanding that is to be aware of your emotions, what you're feeling, and then also the things that you're telling yourself about what you're
Yeah,
doing. Um, yeah,
definitely. How different does it feel to lay on the couch watching TV with guilt and shame, like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, but and versus, oh, there's a lot of stuff I could be doing, but this is what feels nourishing right now, and I'm just going to let myself have this time to relax and do nothing. Like it's a totally different feeling.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you want me to answer that? It feels so damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and too, I think if I'm learning for myself that I need to listen to my body, and my body is telling me, now that I have this hip issue going on, and it's really not my hip, it's a lot of other things, but my body's telling me, Penny, slow down. You need to rest. And I have been pushing, 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 pushing myself for 64 years. Well, maybe I didn't the first year, but maybe I did. But I've been pushing myself for so long that my body is telling me I'm waking up to hearing the messages, you guys. Isn't that awesome? I am waking up. I am hearing it when it
Yes,
says, Penny, I think you've done enough today. Let's just sit down and let's just watch this show. It's okay. It's
amazing.
okay. Yeah. Melissa's having some internet issues, but she put in the chat the top five regrets of the dying. And okay, and here are the top five regrets of the dying. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. I
Hmm.
wish I hadn't worked so hard. Boy, that's a good one. I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that. How about you guys? ladies. I wish I'd stayed in touch with my friends, and I wish I'd let myself be happier. Ah, yeah. We can do that right now, right?
Mhm.
We can make the decision right now that that's the way we want to
That,
live.
for me, that last one just kind of hit home. Um, yeah, I just don't feel like 100% that I'm there yet on allowing myself just to be happy all the time, just no matter what. I mean, I know that generally speaking, I'm a pretty happy person, and most people see me, they know that they,
Mhm.
you know, but I feel like there's something that's not allowing me, as if I'm telling myself I'm not deserving of it so much.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
when you read that, it just struck a chord with me. Like there's something there that I need to dig a little deeper about, just allowing myself just to be happy all the time, you know, and not numbing that happiness because other people around me may not carry that same energy, you know. It's
Mhm.
a thing. It's a thing that I just you just made me aware of.
Yeah.
That is a good list because it does bring you back to present,
Mhm.
right? It does. That's the whole point. Like letting go of those things helps you live your best life. Like I kind of tuned out what Drusilla, you said. I'm so sorry because like, are you staying in touch with your friends? I'm like, I'm gonna text so and so right now. I did. I picked up my phone and I texted a friend I haven't in a long time. I just texted, I love you. Right. And that, I don't know if that took me out of the present because I wasn't listening to you, Drusilla, which I'm sorry because I'm sure it was profound, but I did reach out to a friend.
You're in the other
Oh,
present. That's
I'm in the
good.
other present, right? Like in
yeah.
this
Yeah. There's
multi-dimensional world, right?
Exactly.
yeah.
Releasing all
Yeah.
time and space. Hmm.
Yeah. Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember too, and the community that we all um, met. This is one of the assignments we were given too. But even before I was in this community, I had um, been sharing with people from another group that I was in to write your eulogy today and then live to it. So, however you want to be remembered as when you die, and then just write it and then live it. You know, it's just a beautiful way. Um, yeah, um, beautiful way to live, I think.
Yeah.
Have you all
And
done that? Have you all written your eulogy?
yeah, it's been a few years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
been a few years, but doing something like that also shines light on like it shines the light on are you living for other people too? Because when you're writing it, like it just is clarity. It brings clarity on what is
Hmm.
actually going on in your mind.
Hmm.
I just want to clarify what you mean by living for other people, because I think you mean living by what other people expect of you.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly what I mean. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you for clarifying.
yeah.
Yeah, just like I wish I had the courage to live life true to myself, not the life others expected of me, was the
Yes.
very first wish of those
Hmm.
that are
Mm,
dying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're about halfway through the year. Is there any thing that we'd like to do differently for the remaining part of the year to fully feel like we are living, fully living?
That's a really great question, Morgan.
It is. And Penny,
Yeah.
you and I talked about this when we were preparing the episode that we should all think about, the rest of the year and what we would like
Mhm.
to, do differently if there are areas that we feel like we may be holding back, like what I just said, is just not allowing myself to truly just be happy in every moment
Mm-hmm.
and every
Mm-hmm.
occasion because of my thinking that I might outshine somebody, or if this person is not in the same mood, how are they going to feel if it's just should be a non-factor.
Mm, yeah.
I know. Now my mind is thinking.
Mm.
What's your mind thinking, Amanda?
Like, so I went immediately into what do I need to do differently, right? It's so
Yeah.
interesting because I think my life is pretty wonderful. Like I've set it up that way. Like every
Yeah.
day is. And I still have like um I saw on Facebook some of my friends went to see a band and their pictures look so fun. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I missed that." Right? Like so um I if I was going to change and do something differently, I think I would want to call forth more spontaneity and joy, right? Like Morgan, what you were talking earlier about you have a bucket list of things to keep you playful, right? To keep, to cultivate more laughter on a
Mhm.
daily basis. So, if I was going to bring forth anything, it would be that.
Mm.
So, that's
Love that.
do differently, which is kind of
Spontaneity and
weird to think I need to do anything differently. And at the same time, I want to do things differently. It's a mind boggle, isn't it?
yeah.
It is.
With polite words, that's what it is. It's a mind boggle.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
I don't know that I want to do much differently except, really continue to quiet the critical voice that um, is, she's getting quieter, but I'd really like to continue that. So I don't think it's anything different. It's just a
Mm.
continuation of what I've been working on. And I want to continue doing the lessons, the Course in Miracles lessons, the daily lessons. I want to continue doing that and 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 stay really present to them. So sometimes like it's hard for me to do the meditations and things like that, but just going to keep at it, not beat myself up and just, yeah,
Yeah.
be okay with whatever. This is a really great episode because I can be just okay with whatever's going on. I don't
Mhm.
have to, it doesn't have to be different. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Morgan? You asked the question.
Oh, well, I think what's coming for me is so I'm pretty good at as a manifesting generator, I have 20 different side projects and things on my radar at any given time, plus just regular day-to-day activities, plus part-time work, plus the podcast, plus helping John Mark with his music stuff. So I got a lot going on. It's all fun. It's all intellectually and creatively stimulating. And I'm pretty good about going through my day because I have the freedom to do this and just feeling into what I feel like doing in the moment. For the most part, I have that flexibility and I'm pretty good about following what I feel like doing in the moment. That equals vibrational alignment. That feels good. I'd like to take it a step further and really intentionally make it a spiritual practice. The feeling practice is great, but I'd like to really intentionally check in with spirit, check in with love. And, is this the best use of my time and energy right now? Is there something that would be more helpful, more inspiring, more impactful that I could be doing instead? Just kind of widening my focus, zooming out a little bit instead of just going to my wild calendar and to-do list. So that's one thing. And then the other thing I would say is to really, really work that willingness to integrate the lessons, integrate the teachings. Like I really would like the moments of clarity and connection to feel like they're expanding and they're like taking up more of my day versus just these little interspersed dots throughout the day. You know what I mean? I'm ready to feel, experience some sense of like progress. I know that's probably an ego thing. I don't know. Some
It sounds like connection to me.
sense of expansion and connection. Yeah, like
Yeah.
integration. I don't know.
Which is what we're talking about. That's living,
Yeah.
living. That's actually living
Mhm.
every moment.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
Way
where
to
we
raise the bar,
started.
Megan.
Let's see if Melissa's internet will allow her to chime in with hers.
Yeah. We want to hear what she has to say.
Hopefully. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Mine would be mine would be to let go of outcomes,
Mm.
which is which is back to being present, but I'm sometimes so focused on what I want to happen, I get out of the present. So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
That is a good one, Melissa.
I love
Yeah.
listening to you guys. I thank you. I love being off camera and having my microphone off and just listening because I'm like going, "Oh yeah, yep, yep, I agree."
Oh, I love knowing that you're there. And
Mhm.
hopefully next week your internet will be better so you can be fully engaged with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love it
yeah,
when you're here, fully engaged, able to speak. Yeah.
me too.
Okay, ladies.
Great topic, Drusilla and Penny. Thanks
Mhm.
for bringing this to us this week.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. Yeah. Let's just all live.
Mhm.
Just live.
Yes.
La 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 la.
Yeah.
La. Let's live for today.
I love it. I think that can be our post-it, right? And remember
Mhm.
that all of it is wonderful.
Mhm.
Every little bit that we're living is wonderful. You don't have to do
Yes.
anything else. Yeah, I think that's all the post-its we're going to talk about today
Okay.
because it's,
Because you were
yeah,
fully present.
yeah, it's just all wonderful. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us for the Five Lemons Laughing podcast. Remember, you're not alone in feeling any of this, you know, disconnection, the gap between inspiration and action. You're not alone. Everybody feels it at some point, sometime, and just breathing in the now, the here and now, and breathing and letting go of the then and there is probably one simple tool you can just do. Just breathe, really, just breathe and pause and ask yourself a question if that's what you need to do to get yourself back on track. If you feel like you're off track, I mean, it's just this is kind of a interesting conversation to have. Like, are you even off track?
Right.
We don't know, right? We don't know. We don't know if we're off track or not. And so just live. Just really live, be present, and remember the five regrets that dying people have. Wish they were happier, wish they kept in contact with friends, wish they had lived to their true self, wish they had had the courage to express their feelings. We can all do that today. And so let's just live, live, live. And if you've enjoyed this episode, you can share it or connect with us at fivelemonslaughing.com. And next week we're gonna, I have a question about next week to cue it up. Have you ever wished for a roadmap when life takes an unexpected turn or wondered how to stay grounded and when nothing is certain? So tune in next week because we'll be exploring that topic. And so until next time, keep laughing and loving and listening to your inner wisdom. because your transformation is our greatest joy, and we can't wait to connect with you again. So let's all live life fully today, tomorrow, and the next day, and every day after that. Love you all. Have a great week.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.